You're listening to an episode on the Nerdcore podcast feed. If you're feeling generous, please consider pledging to a tier on our Patreon at patreon.com/thenerdcore. We have tiers as low as $1 per month. Thanks so much, and enjoy the episode.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Impaired Files, episode 3. This week, I am joined by wonderful filmmaker, friend, and overall, just a great human being. You might know him on Twitch as Beef Jesus, but he just lurks in your chat. But to me, I know him as Beef Jesus. But his real name is Ayden Byrnes, and he's here today to continue on this series with me. And no other person that I think I needed to talk to as soon as possible, other than Ayden. So, Ayden, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, just a man of few words.
Really, yeah.
Man, a few words. You know, that's how I like it, man. I think that's as good as it's going to get, guys. As always, I want to give you all a big shout out. I mean, you guys are really enjoying these episodes, and I have no idea why, because it's kind of like therapy. But hey, you know what? You guys are enjoying them, so what am I going to question? We did really good on the first episode with Silenushi, with Nikki. We did really good. Second episode, we did pretty good too with Daniela. We know that she's now part of the team. And today we're going to be talking with Ayden. And first of all, I mean, how are you doing today, Ayden?
Pretty good. I almost had a bird shit on me in the park today, but I avoided it. So that's great.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right. Okay, yeah. So we're going to definitely start like that. And you are a fan of filming birds. And, you know, they just did that to you today.
Yeah, they really almost did me dirty. I was walking around this tree.
Literally dirty.
I see, something coming, down. I thought it was, rain. I was like, that's weird that's just rain in that particular spot. And I looked down, it's just, this white bird shit. I was like, oh, sick. Just gonna stop for a second and continued on and just kept filming.
Yeah. Dude, it's you know, I thought you and birds had a kind of synergetic relationship per se, you know, you use them, they use you.
Shooting some birds yesterday on Roosevelt Island, and today they're just nope.
Yeah. By the way, he does not mean actually shooting birds. For you, for those of you not known, for those of you not knowledgeable in the filmmaker lingo, he means actually filming birds, but. You know, he didn't mean actually shooting birds, so please don't go crucify Ayden on the internet. Dude, that's just not how
that all the time, and everyone's like, "Are you okay? You're shooting birds?" I was like, "Yeah, with my camera."
Yeah. If you've never heard this voice before, it means that you're not listening to these shows enough, or you just skip a couple of episodes because you don't want to get spoiled on some movies that you have yet to watch. But we had Ayden on a couple of other episodes. You know, we've had him on. We had a whole month with him doing Ingmar Bergman movies, and before that, I think we had him on one episode.
Yeah, it was the Seventh Seal, which is also another Bergman thing. So.
Yeah, and then we've had him on a live show, and he just couldn't fix his webcam.
Yeah, it still doesn't work, so it's just dead.
No live show for Ayden anymore because he doesn't know how to work his webcam.
Get a new webcam, or I guess I could use my laptop. I never really thought of that, but
yeah, I don't know, Ayden. You know, you really gotta just kind of just have to go with it. See. I have no idea why yours doesn't work.
And mine works. I think it was when I moved because it used to work previously, and then I think the actual webcam just broke when I moved. I could get one of those Elgato cam link things and use my A7S, I guess.
Yeah, also HDR real shit. Intense. Damn. Fucking real 4K camera quality and everything. God damn.
Yeah, I'll get some studio lighting set up. It'll be official.
You want to just stunt on everybody on the live show. You're like, Brad, Raul.
Flex on the live show.
It's Raul, Brad, I bet y'all don't have quality like this, right? Yeah. Just have us just stunt like that, dude. But other than filmmaking and a little bit of podcast appearances, Ayden has also does photography, digital and film. We'll be talking about that later, but I just wanted to point out the stuff that he does. And Ayden, this is not therapy. I hope it doesn't feel like therapy. I won't be going into things like that. We'll see for sure. But I always ask one question, the icebreaker question, to kind of relieve the tension and to kind of have conversation start. And, I think I asked Nikki about her favorite video game. I don't remember if I did. But I asked Daniela about her favorite director or movie of all time. I'll ask you for the same thing. Favorite movie of all time or director?
Okay. I think my favorite movie is Cabin Fever, although it's really not like a great film or anything. I just like watching that movie a lot because it's really weird.
Yeah.
Director, I guess there's kind of two answers to that, which I think I've said before, like Bergman for like classical stuff, and then in the modern day, I really like Sam Esmail.
Yeah.
Although he does a lot more kind of TV stuff.
That's fine.
But like the one film that he's done is also fantastic. I just really love the style that he, or how he collaborates with his DP.
Yeah.
And how he can direct a scene, and also like he does a lot of long takes, especially recently, and those are really interesting to see how he makes those work. Yeah.
Ayden is notoriously known for not watching a lot of films, well, not a lot of modern or look, honestly, Ayden, this is going to be something I'm going to bring up. I don't think you're a big fan of American cinema.
Yeah, I guess just like the Hollywood system, I guess.
Yeah. Like independent filmmaking, of course, you're a big fan of.
Independent film.
Yeah.
When I can go see a good independent film, I will do that. I just don't necessarily go to like the big
blockbuster,
like the AMC theaters and
exactly.
Just,
yeah.
Like it's really hard for me to just be like, go to the movies. I'll pick something. Like I have to kind of really know that there's something good there before I go.
Yeah. I know. So I'm gonna do another little part of the icebreaker, and I'm gonna go ahead and follow up on those questions on that the way you're talking about. But I'm gonna do a follow up. I'm gonna name a couple directors, and you're gonna tell me if you've seen some of their films before.
All right.
I'll start off with Iñárritu.
No, I might. Maybe what kind of films has he done?
Babel, Birdman,
I've seen Birdman, yeah.
The Revenant,
and The Revenant, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you've seen something.
I just wasn't familiar with his name, but
yeah. Mostly known as Alejandro. They just call him Alejandro. The people who can't pronounce the last name, but Guillermo del Toro.
My sister just got me The Shape of Water is his, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just got me that for my birthday. I haven't sat down to watch it yet, but I'm excited to try that one.
All right.
I don't remember the rest of his filmography.
Pan's Labyrinth.
I haven't seen that. I need to.
Hellboy, The Golden Army.
I may have seen that, but I don't recall it enough.
Yeah. Pacific Rim.
No.
Okay, cool. So you're going to watch one of his films because you already got The Shape of Water.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that.
You're going to be introduced to the beautiful style of Guillermo. All right, I was going to ask you next. Denis Villeneuve, you have watched one of his films. I gave you the download code for Blade Runner 2049. How did you enjoy that?
I thought it was very well shot. It felt like a little bit long, I guess.
Oh, it's freaking long. Yeah.
It was a long boy. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it probably wasn't like one of my favorite.
No, I didn't expect
films,
it.
I guess, but it was a really interesting film to sit down and watch.
Yeah, I didn't expect it for it to be one of your favorite movies. All I know is that it was like, I said, there's no way this boy hasn't watched a Denis Villeneuve movie because he's made some really interesting stuff. Arrival, Sicario, Prisoners, just really, really good movies. So if you get the chance to watch more of his films, I hope you do. Here, I'm going to ask you
I would
two.
like to watch Arrival. I just Sicario doesn't look great to me.
Oh man,
it might be better than it looks.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You will be pleasantly surprised about Sicario.
Okay.
That movie fucking opens up crazy, man. And there's also like a certain scene where it's just I love having these conversations with you because with Brad, like I can talk about cinematography, I can talk about all those things, and he'll be appreciative of it like through a audience perspective. But with you, I know I get the filmmaker perspective. There's a scene in there that's beautifully shot, and then the use of the score in the background, and the just upping the use of sound and stuff. It's just perfectly crafted. And I'm gonna go more into it, but I'll give you two more directors. I want to get two more in there.
Yep.
Been really personal favorite of ours. You know about Tarkovsky. You just never watched the movie of his because you can't find them, right?
Yeah, they're really hard to actually get access to unless you like pay for them, which I usually am not trying to just drop like $8 on a rental.
All right, and then the final one, of course. You've watched. I hope you. This is a personal favorite of mine, but I recently just got into him. Gaspar Noé. Have you watched anything from him?
Again, the name does not.
Irreversible, Love, I Stand Alone, Enter the Void. He only has like 5 movies right now.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I've seen any of them.
It's crazy ass shit, man. I'll tell you that. But look, that's the icebreaker. Is there some tension relieved yet, Ayden?
Yeah, I feel very
all right.
Relieved.
Yeah. Cool. So, you're a filmmaker. I'm going to go more deep into that, and I'll talk about photography later, but I want to get a little close around with you. Were you always a very, artful kid? Were you always interested in, movies when you were a kid? And because, at least in my perspective, Ayden, I grew up watching all these animated films, and I was always so interested in, just so amazed by how there's a picture on the wall just moving and just speaking to me.
I guess I wasn't like super like movies didn't impact me, I guess, the way that I guess most filmmakers probably were impacted by them. Especially like I guess I always had kind of the same view of it that I wouldn't just want to watch like any just random movie. So like when someone's saying it's like, hey, let's sit down and watch a movie, I'm like generally there were like periods of my life where I like kind of dreaded that because I knew they were just going to pick something that I wasn't going to want to watch.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to kind of just be like, oh, watch a movie now, and because that's just going to eat up 2 hours, and I'm not sure if the movie's going to be worth that 2 hours or whatever. And there's definitely like I remember some films like early in my childhood like where you just like you remember like walking out of the theater and you're like, damn. Like that was a kind of.
Yeah, I feel like kids are pleasantly surprised by a lot of things, like they're pleasantly like, especially in films, like it doesn't take much to amaze a kid.
Not really, yeah.
Yeah, I've always found that fascinating, even though I don't see myself making, I don't know if you do, but I don't see myself making films for children, for sure.
Definitely not. Yeah, I think my films are a little weirder.
Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, so, but I am always, surprised and kind of interested in how it really doesn't take much to amaze a child, but I mean, then again, you have to realize that, that child is only selectively seeing so many things, so something new that comes to his or her face is going to be amazing to them. But, yeah, I was going to ask next that, you're talking about, you're always scared of not being able to like a film, so, like, I'm about to waste 1.5 to 2 hours on a film, and I don't know if I'm going to like it. When did you really start experimenting and really started to build your taste of film? Was it like teen years, or like your young adult getting out of high school, going into college?
I'd say it was kind of like the last year of high school, or mostly in college, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in high school, like whenever like my family would sit down and watch a movie, unless it was like my sister, my sister Leah, my sister didn't necessarily have like the greatest film taste, which is fine. My mom really didn't. So shout out mom for having shit film taste. But usually I wouldn't like their taste. I wouldn't want to sit down and watch a movie with them.
Yeah,
I guess. So when I got to college and I could really like pick and choose the movies I wanted to watch, I did that a lot more, and I started going to the theater more.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously like being in film classes, you watch more stuff and you're exposed to a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very interested. What's your mom's film taste? Because my mom's film taste is very different too. She, I don't know, man. We both have different mothers. You have a white mom. I have a Latina mom. She likes very different things that would speak more to Latinas. She actually watched a lot of Lifetime movies. That was kind of more of her shtick. And she liked all these Spanish comedies and stuff. And what was your mom's film taste, dude?
Honestly, don't really know how to describe it, or her music taste. Really, I just don't understand. Early on, it was like a lot of westerns. I guess when we first moved out to Wyoming, which like I wasn't really into. because they weren't fun to watch as like an 8-year-old kid, you know.
Yeah. We've gone over this before about how you lived in the country for a long time and how that really pushed you to have your love for the city.
Yeah. I guess it also affected my way of making like films too, I guess, somehow. But
Yeah. And you said your sister, one of your sisters has the better film taste. And is that the sister that you're kind of more close with?
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, she recommends me stuff. She sent me The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Because she was like, well, how have you not seen this? You know.
Yeah, I agree with your sister. Oh, have you not seen this?
Yeah. So she always like tries to get me to watch a lot of stuff, which some of the stuff she sent me is kind of weird, but like it's like worth watching, I guess.
Oh, The Shape of Water is definitely on par with being weird. So, you know,
I've seen and heard some things, you know.
Yeah.
We'll
Good old fish time. Yeah. But look,
yeah.
you know, you're talking about, you know, it was really college and high school, but so, you know, at least for me, I do have the one movie that really, I feel like every filmmaker has to have this movie. You know, the one movie that made them realize, like, hey, I kind of want to make movies. At least for me, it was Django Unchained. And Django Unchained is not even in my top 10 movies of all time. It was just a movie that really, I needed at the time to really spark that interest in filmmaking. What was that for you?
I don't know if there was a specific one. I guess there was kind of like a general group. One of them, I guess, so I watched kind of right before I went to college, I guess, the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to school and was like starting to take film classes. I remember like the movie The Imitation Game like really impacted me. I went to go see it like in theaters like multiple times, just especially like the sound, I guess, or the score got me.
It's
like,
a beautiful
really
score
in those. Like I think it won best music that year, maybe.
I don't remember, but I do agree with you. It does have a really beautiful score.
Yeah, that just like stuck with me for like
Yeah.
days after watching it, and then I went back to watch it, and I was just like, that film was fantastic. And then I also really liked Django when I saw it, but I only saw it once, and I own it, but I haven't watched it again.
The editing is absolutely out of this world, man. And just the positioning of the camera and the cinematography in Django just really made me like, hey, Raul, you should probably try making a movie. You talk about the score for Imitation Game. Are you a big fan of film scores?
Yeah, also a big fan of. I always like mention Mr. Robot,
Mm-hmm.
the TV series. The score in that by Matt Quayle is unreal. It's so good. It like, drives that story so much more. That show would be kind of flat without it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But it just adds so much.
Yeah.
I love like I think only a couple of my short films that I made have had like an actual composer.
Yeah.
But when you're able to get one, it adds just a whole other level to your film.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like, I don't know if you're going to agree with me here, but I feel like the score is one of the most underrated parts of the, underrated and underappreciated parts of the filmmaking process. A lot of people don't really pick it up because I feel like a lot of people are kind of embarrassed to say like, oh yeah, I listen to film scores in my time. I don't. I can honestly tell you I listen to more film scores than I do regular music. Well, it's still music, but I'm talking about like pop radio music and stuff like that, you know. Some that I keep always on loop are the Interstellar soundtrack, the Unbreakable soundtrack.
Yeah. Interstellar, yeah, that soundtrack is
beautiful. Unreal, man. It's like, try this, Ayden. And I've told this to a lot of people. Next time you're on a flight, Ayden, and you're kind of like tired, kick your head back, turn on the Interstellar soundtrack, and close your eyes and listen to that.
That would be a wild plane ride.
Yeah. I'm not even telling you to do it on acid or something. I'm just telling you, like, listen to Interstellar soundtrack on a plane ride with your eyes closed. It is an outer world experience, man. It's a beautiful score. But do you listen to them a lot? Like, outside of movies, do you listen to them? To scores?
Not a ton. I get the Mr. Robot one. I listened to that one a lot. I used to listen to that while I was doing homework for this coding class that I had to take because it just really got me into that mindset, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, they do help you relax.
Particular tracks that I would just kind of just repeat, and it would just really just like let me get shit done like immediately. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I've been listening to it while I'm editing this other short film right now. That like that film's gonna really need the composer to kind of help certain
Yeah.
certain parts. So I've been like listening to one cue just like on repeat
Yeah.
while I'm
Dude,
editing that to make sure it like makes sense still.
yeah. As someone who hasn't finished film school and you finished school, can you give me some advice, dude? How do I go for getting a composer to work on my films? Because I have this so I'm obviously working on a follow up to my documentary. I said this a while ago. It's I'm working on that follow up. I'm also working on this on a short film. I am trying my hardest. I really do want to get a composer for that film. How would you go about getting a composer? And this isn't even just for me, but I know I'm asking this for me, but I'm asking this for like other upcoming filmmakers in here who are like in my film classes or in other colleges having another film class. Like, how would you go about finding a composer?
Um, I've had varying degrees of success with this, I guess. So I'll give you like some general advice, I guess. If you're in school, if the school has some sort of music department or whatever, try to reach out to like professors, or if you know anyone in that
Yeah,
department,
yeah,
ask if anyone's particularly interested in like film scoring. Some
yeah.
colleges that are larger will have like a separate kind of program for this, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Some won't, and that's fine. You could also try to reach out to, if you have any like, I know at my school we had like a couple different film clubs basically. So I was like part of the filmmakers club, and then we
Yeah,
had like the rival, like, or I say rival because I hated them,
yeah.
like the telecasters who just did entirely different things with film.
Yeah.
And within
Alas.
that, you can generally put out like a little like thing on like Facebook or whatever, just like, hey, looking for a composer, and usually you'll find someone that'll do it.
Yeah.
You're not always the greatest, and that's fine, but like you'll find someone, and that's a good start to really start to like understand that process.
Yeah.
I've tried reaching out to just like artists that I found that are like fairly small on like SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever,
Goddamn.
which worked sort of. That's the score for Almost Human was that, although he didn't really actually create a score, he just kind of was like, hey, you can use this music, because he was gonna originally like try to like make something original, but then he just like took forever and didn't do that, which like is fair because we really couldn't offer him like payment, like,
Yeah.
or much. I was like, hey, I can give you like $20, but we really can't offer more than that.
Yeah.
So he obviously, like, there wasn't a sense of urgency for him to like do that, so he's like, you can just use some of my music from SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever, and like that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a tricky thing, especially with anybody working in your film, having to break the news that, hey, I can't really give you payment for this, and especially because I can't speak for your experience, because you went to a different college than I am, and I'm gonna actually explore that a little bit, but I haven't had to get into that. I've always had people come like, hey man, if you do need me to work on something, let me know, because I really do want to work on it. I'll revise the script. I don't care. I'll look over some scenes if you want. But I don't know. I don't know about you, but did you really ever have somebody like an actor, composer, or whatever that said like, hey man, I'll work with you, but kind of need some payment for this, because I value my art or something?
In college, really never ran
Yeah.
into that often. Like, it was always in those clubs or whatever, especially like, I can just speak from like the filmmakers club perspective, but it was always a collaboration, and it was always just trying to get people to work together.
Yeah.
So it was like, you never even like brought up like, hey, we
Yeah.
can't pay you or whatever. It's just like that was assumed, and you just wanted to, if you want to be there, you're just there to make films and not necessarily be
Yeah.
paid for them. It's just like you have to make movies to get better at it. So it was
Yeah.
always that.
Yeah, it's just like, hey,
Now,
pizza's on me, boys, but boys and girls, whoever's on your team, like, hey, pizza's on me, guys, but I can't
yeah,
pay
it was
you.
always encouraged to, if someone's gonna help with your thing and it's gonna take forever, like, feed them.
Yeah.
Like,
Hashtag
that's
just producer
kinda all you
things.
can ask for it. Now that I'm in New York, way harder to just like, and it's always like easier when they're on your project to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's like, they know they're going to be the editor from the start, and all these people, and you can like assemble a team before you even make this thing, it's always easier. But if you're just like, if you finish it and you have no idea who you want to compose or color or edit or whatever, it's way harder to just go put that out on a Facebook group or Craigslist or wherever and be like, hey, here's our project that they don't know anything about, and be like, hey, edit this or whatever for free.
Yeah.
Like they have to be interested kind of from the start. Otherwise, that's going to be way harder. So when I see something on Craigslist or whatever, when I'm looking for just like color gigs or any of the other like production websites that are less sketchy.
Yeah, because Craigslist can be pretty sketchy.
It's very hit or miss. I saw some interesting ads recently. But if I see something, it's like, hey, this is a great film, a great opportunity, and then I see it says no pay, I just click away because I'm like, I don't want that.
Like,
unless it can somehow convince me if they have a really nice trailer or something. But if it's just like a text post, it's like, hey, we need someone to do this for free, then I click away immediately. So
it's like, you're like, I want to do this for the sake of art as well, but a motherfucker got to eat.
Yeah, especially like here when everything's so expensive, like you just like have to be making money like every day, basically.
Yeah. So you went to good old MSU, Spartan Pride, right?
Yeah, go green.
Go green, yeah.
Let's go white is the proper response to that. Just gonna throw that up. But you're new, you don't. That's anyone that didn't go there doesn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know about anything from MSU. I'm a cougar here at the University of Houston. Each down, hold down, baby.
Cougar.
Yeah, damn right, boy. Yeah, I'm a cougar. But yeah, did you start with film first, or did you had the beautiful experience that I had, where I was actually a chemical engineering student at first, and then I had a terrible depressive episode that made me realize, hey, I want to do filmmaking.
Did not have that.
Okay.
But when I was graduating high school, I was originally going to do computer science.
Oh, you definitely look like a computer science guy.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna assume it is, because otherwise, ow. That's kind of what I was originally thinking. When I applied to MSU, though, they had this program like reach out to me that said I was like one of the top 1,100 applicants or whatever at MSU. So they like invited us all out for this like scholarship competition thing, and they made like the most impossible test like ever. So that was definitely like the hardest test I ever took in my life. But like whoever got the highest score on that or like the top 15 people would all get like a full ride or whatever. I didn't get that because like fuck. But during that whole like 2-day event, they kind of went through all the majors and stuff like that in a more like 1-to-1 kind of setup. Yeah. And they like you could take a little like tour of the college you were thinking, and I went to the engineering one, and it's just like all these like really old, boring, like not to be like racist, but just like a bunch of like Asian guys that were just like really boring. Not because they were Asian, because they were just like these just engineering dudes, and I was just like, I don't care about this. And then I went to there was like my department, which was media and information, which was just kind of like a mix of like TV, film, radio, basically. I just went in there because I was trying to kill some time, and I started talking to one of the women that was like leading that, and I was like, oh shit, this actually sounds like mad fun, like I should consider this, I guess. And they also had a scholarship for that was like $7,000, so I was like, I'll apply for that, and if I get that, I'm like definitely switching my major. Before I even got there, I guess, because I really hadn't started school at that point. But I eventually applied to that, and like way later, I thought I didn't get the scholarship because, like I said, they were gonna get back to me like by March or something. And like then like April or like May rolls around, they're like, oh hey, you got that. I was like, oh sick. Oh. Like, so then I just decided to just kind of go all in on that, and yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, so you really just fell into film because they gave you money.
Basically, I think part of it was too, like at that conference or whatever, there was like this cute girl that sat at a table next to me, and I saw like at one point she went into that room, and I was like, hey, I'll slide in there real quick.
Yeah.
Say hi, which I did not talk to her at all.
No.
Beyond that.
Thank you, random girl. thank you, Random
Yeah,
Girl,
honestly,
for
that
introducing.
random occurrence kind of like also helped, which is weird, but
Yeah, you will
shout
be
out
mentioning
whatever
her
that
at
girl's
your
name is.
Oscar acceptance speech.
Don't remember what her name was. Like I talked to her at one point, but I really don't recall.
Yeah.
But shout out that random girl.
Shout out to that Random Girl. You know who to thank in your Oscar acceptance speech, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call her out. Also, I think like in high school we had to make some like short.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they were like proper short films, but at the time I really wasn't like. I guess that got me more into like just video in general and editing, I guess. Because I like sat in with the guy who was editing that, just because I really didn't want to be in class.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just go help that guy edit that because I don't want to be here in English class. So I did that, and then that was really fun to watch. And then I started just kind of playing around with. That was like Premiere CS5 at the time.
Oh man.
Which was a pile of trash.
Yeah, I have a beautiful story for you. The only film-esque experience I had in high school, I took a broadcast journalism class, and on the first day, my teacher asked us, okay, who wants to be reporting and who wants to do editing? I picked up my hand with editing, and I edited some of the stuff in iMovie, and that was it. And that, I think that is where I started my hate for editing. But yeah, you know, I like to get bits and pieces of me in these things. So when it leads up to my episode, then people will be like, okay, I'm starting to connect the dots with everything, Raul. This is what makes Raul so troubled. But yeah, you had Premiere CS5, bro. I had iMovie. That was it.
Yikes. That was, like our school had Premiere. I really try not to use that because I really hated it back in the day. And I used to, I think I got Sony Vegas in 2013.
Yeah.
Like for myself, like I saved up and like bought the cheapest version I could. And I really loved that software for a while. I think until I got to MSU, I was still using that because like I really hated like Premiere CS5 and CS6. Like they just looked disgusting to me, and like the software like has to somehow look appealing to me for me to be more creative, I guess. I had no idea.
And they really improved now.
With then CC rolled around, and like I just started using it more, and it started to make more sense. Like Vegas takes forever to render, so I was like, let's try this Premiere CC thing. And then since then, it's been mostly great, aside from a couple versions that have just been like bugged to shit.
Yeah.
And all the lovely like random Premiere crashes and stuff like that. But for the most part, I've stuck with that.
Yeah. Ever fucked with Final Cut?
No, I just like have never been a Mac kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I've never even really opened it because I just don't use Macs ever. And even like our school was kind of like a Mac thing if you went into like the editing labs or whatever. So I just I always just edited on my own computer. I never really fucked with that.
I believe my editing class, she said that one of the only professors that takes the class, one of my friends, she said he only uses Final Cut Pro. So
yeah, I think one of our editing classes was for like Avid or something too, and I just like wasn't interested in that, mainly because the teacher that taught it was kind of a dick and didn't know what he was talking about. But
let's hope he doesn't listen to this.
If he does, like, fuck off, Troy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but I mean that's interesting, dude. That's very interesting. Yeah, but shout out to that girl for getting you into film, because damn, dude, like that was, you know, you're really, really talented, man. I really enjoy everything you do, bro, and I keep telling you that. You also told me, I know you've watched my films, but I don't think you remember a lot of them. The only 3 that I have up, but you know, I don't think you remember. But I know that you've always said that I have a knack for this, and that I'm very dedicated to what I do, and I've always appreciated that.
I think of all like my film friends, I think you definitely have like the most drive, or you're in the top 3 of like people who are just like driven to this, and you can tell that they like really give a shit about it.
Yeah.
And other people have always been just like, they're just like in college, they would just be like doing it because it was like an easy major and shit. And you can really tell like immediately when someone loves this, and they'll continue to do it like outside of class, and they're just like really passionate to learn more about it. And then you can also tell when people just like don't give a shit.
Yeah. And I feel like that's probably the people that you hated working with the most on set for classes.
Oh yeah. That's like why I liked our like film club and like the other film club like Telecasters sorry to keep throwing them under the bus if any of them listen to this, which they won't.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that was just more of like a social club.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we like make videos sometimes, haha, but like mostly we're in this to like party and just shit like that, and I just like wasn't interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, when you haven't put out anything you've directed. You're mostly cinematographer, colorist. What's up?
I guess like I directed like just short stuff, like that Arby's.
Oh yeah.
Series that I made. Like I directed like stuff, like simple stuff like that, but I really haven't put out a serious thing, I guess, that I've directed.
So nothing like narrative yet that you've really like you. I know you're writing something right now, and
yeah, it's in the works. Still, really hasn't gotten much progress at all, but it's there.
Yeah, I have 5 scripts in the vault, my friend. Yeah. Is there an interest to direct, or do you think like I kind of like cinematography a lot? I think I want to stick with that, or coloring.
Yeah, I guess I like directing. I just like it's not my main thing. So like I would like to direct maybe like a year, maybe 2, but I want to do more than that. I don't think.
Yeah. I get you, dude. Yeah, for me, at least, I love directing. I love what I'm able to do with it. That's my main thing. But I also really love cinematography, and that's why most of my shorts are shot by me. And so either way, the only other one that was not shot by me, I was still very creatively involved with it, and so, I still had some input from the cinematographer. But I was also, kind of giving him my ideas, and I was like, hey, you could actually put it there instead of right here or whatever. But, I really do want to see what you're writing, and I don't want to kind of ask about it because I know that we leave everything for the pitches or when it gets shot. So I'll go ahead and shut up about that. But I really do hope I do want to see something. I do want to see a short film by Ayden Byrnes soon.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to like pull that off, I guess, because I have to I feel like I have to do so much with that. Like if I'm directing or if I like write and direct, I also want to shoot it because I feel like my style is very particular, I guess, to me. Like I feel like a lot of modern DPs like have their own look, and that's fine. It's just like mine is mine, and I want to tell my story how I see it also, and then I'd also want to like edit and color it. So it's just putting a lot of work onto myself, and I really don't know who else to bring on. Like I would have like an AD probably that I like really trust. Yeah. And like bring more people in, obviously like actors and stuff like that. But
yeah, and I'm listening to you when you were saying that. I feel like right now you're making it out to be like a really hard thing, and then finally when it gets to day of shooting, you're gonna be like, wow, you know what? This isn't as bad as I envision it. I'm kind of just giving commands behind the camera, and that's what I've always been used to. And then of course you've mostly edited most of your shit, so but you really you love editing so much that I wouldn't picture you not editing a short that you directed, because like at least I've always gotten the feeling with you, you're definitely of like my vision, my work. I want to do my work on my vision.
Yeah. I don't. It's hard for me to just like trust other people with, especially like, I guess like the stuff that I've shot, and I've like shot the past year or so. I've like started to shoot things that I know I'm not going to edit, like for documentary stuff. I've been shooting a lot of like B-roll and stuff, and I'm fine just handing that off. But I guess for narrative stuff, like if I shoot it, like I want to edit it because I know how I shot it on set, like, and I'm always I know the mistakes or whatever that I'm making and that I'm gonna have to fix later, and I'm comfortable making those. Yeah. Because I know I can fix them later, but I don't want to like shoot something that like needs a little bit of love for this certain like portion and then give it to someone who either doesn't notice that or doesn't know how to fix it or whatever. But like it's easier for me to just like know that I made this thing that I have to fix later, and I can just do it.
Yeah. It's just knowing when you're so in tune with your work and knowing that, hey, I pointed out, I need to point out where I did wrong, and I think I'm the only one who can actually see it, because what one pair of eyes sees will always be different from another pair of eyes. They'll be like, I know for sure somebody who works on one thing, they're like, I don't think I see a problem with the background in this one. but into another person, they'll be like, oh yeah, I definitely see a problem with that. We should probably not shoot here today. We should probably move the location to another day. To another place. So, when you keep that one pair of eyes on it, I think it's just a lot better. In my opinion, it's always been directors should always have a say in the writing of the film. Like they should definitely have a say in when the screenplay is being done. I don't know if I feel that same way about editing because I feel like, editing is such a different ball game than directing. But if you're in that case, that's fine. Like, I can see why you would do it. But at least for me, it's always been writing. Like directors should 100% either write or help write the screenplay.
Yeah, or at least just like be able to revise it and kind of write portions of it.
Yeah.
They shouldn't just like get a script and just shoot that exactly as it was written. Like they should be able to mold it into their own thing somehow, even if you have to rewrite certain portions or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's always surprised me a lot of the movies that I've seen and where it's made by like directors that I'm enjoying, and then I look it up and I'm like, no wonder that really didn't feel like a film from them because they weren't involved in the writing process. And yeah, it's definitely something else. But you at least you're a triple threat. You like to shoot the film, you would like to direct, and you would like to edit it. But not produce it for sure. You do.
Oh, no, I hate
you and
producing.
I. Oh my God,
I
you and I. We
produced,
have that
one
in common.
thing kind of, and it was the worst experience of my life.
You and I have that in common. We hate scheduling. We hate having to make sure that everybody gets on time and stuff. Like that's not me, man. Leave me in the back of the camera, giving the orders and everything. I can't deal with scheduling. And yeah.
I can't do that. I can't act. I can't do
yeah.
like catering shit. I guess like I don't know. Can't do like makeup, hair, or any of that kind of stuff. It's just like, but I can generally do kind of like the technical, all of those kind of crew positions. But the other stuff, I just can't.
Yeah, at least with the catering, man. When you're a college student, it's like, hey guys, pizza's on me if you guys don't mind. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. Or like, hey,
yeah, if I was like a caterer, I'd just get pizza every day.
yeah, pizza. Or like, guys, sandwich shop right next to us. Let's go ahead and break for lunch. Anybody want to go eat and stuff like that? It's not like an actual set where you're like, hey guys, these people are catering. You guys want to come and get fruit or some shit? It's yeah. But those your college years, man, and it's very interesting. As somebody who hasn't finished it, I always find it interesting. I'm like, guys, pizza's on me. Some people are like, nah, man, I'm not hungry. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then, fuck off, I guess. But we'll go. I'm gonna go and eat because I'm actually hungry. I don't know about you all, but it's interesting.
It's like a terrible like. Wait, I guess maybe this is good for the actual film, but like when I'm on set, I will just like not eat, or I'll just like deprive myself of like basic necessities like water or whatever for extended periods of time because I'm really focused on getting my shot or like setting up for the next shot, like while people are out at like lunch or whatever. And there's definitely been times when I've gone like a whole like 12-hour day or whatever, which is like barely eating anything, and I'm just like, and then I like get home or whatever afterwards, I'm like, oh shit,
I haven't ate.
And then I like sit down for a second, and then I just like feel all my bones just like giving out and shit. Yeah. But like when I'm on set, like I just like, get to this other like zone or whatever, and I just don't realize that. And then like until when I'm done, I'm like I just die basically for like a good day.
Sacrificing hunger for the good of art, my friend.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like it's really fucked up. Like I should really just like sit down and just like eat. I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. So, now you're living in New York and you've made your appearances on ours, and we talked about, Swedish filmmaking and Ingmar Bergman. You said that was one of your biggest influence. Other than Swedish films, what's your big influence?
Particularly like on film stuff, I guess. I don't know if there's any like other directors necessarily other than like Sam Esmail for like Mixed Robot is like a huge influence, even though that's not like a movie. It's just like a TV show that I just watch.
It's a beautifully shot TV show. Like, if you would have asked me, I would have thought Mr. Robot was a movie.
Yeah, I mean it basically is. It's just like a long movie. It's just a masterpiece on like every single level. Lately, what he did with what Sam Esmail did with the series Homecoming, which he didn't write that.
Yes. Yes.
But just the way he directed that, he just like took kind of full command over that. Like that was beautifully done. Like that was insane.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the guy has a really visual style, and you can pinpoint it down. It's really interesting, but yeah, it's Swedish filmmaker Sam Esmail, you know, all those influences, and so now I'm gonna get to the nice thing that I teased at the beginning, you know. So you like all this stuff, and then when it comes to the good old Hollywood, why? You know, I think I'm gonna agree with some of the things you say here, and I'm gonna kind of point out stuff that I don't like about the American studio audience and the American studio system. But you're not a big fan of it. You're not a big fan of American cinema, at least Hollywood perspective. And I think, will you agree with me with what I say here? I feel right now, at this moment, compared to what is being produced in France, Sweden, China, Iran, Mexico, the American studio does not take as much of a risk with their films.
Absolutely, yeah. It's more like what'll get us the most box office success, like what's going to bring in the money.
Yeah.
Rather than like always focusing on like what is the best story we can tell, like what kind of experience can we give to people. It's more just like, yo, so that last Marvel movie made shitloads of money, let's make another one.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's I mean, I agree with myself, but I agree with what you just said, because you know I constantly get the shit like, you know, Raul, you only like dark and depressing things, but I'm like, okay, cool, but my way to unload is to watch these Marvel films and movies and the superhero and the Star Wars and stuff. And I enjoy them, but they're not stuff that I'm constantly chasing to kind of expand the mind I have in here of my filmmaking. And you know, it's right now we are definitely in the year of the superhero, you know, in the time of the superhero movie, and because it's what's making a lot of money. Or honestly, it's not even superhero. I think it's just a franchise. The year of the, like, you know, the time of franchises, you know, because we have Fast and the Furious, we have Star Wars making a comeback. We have Marvel, DC, whatever, and then we have the Conjuring franchise and whatever. You know, we're very stuck to the franchise right now, and there's not many attention being put on, you know, the Guillermo del Toros or the Gaspar Noés of the world, who are making actual like films that aren't really of a adaptation of like comics or about dudes jumping out of buildings, exploding and stuff. These are filmmakers that are actually taking a risk with their stories, you know. But there are movies in the superhero genre that have taken risks. To name two right now, Logan and Black Panther. Black Panther takes a huge risk just by the diversity in the cast, because it has not been done. Yep. And then you have, you know, Logan, which is a fucking Western superhero film. You know, that's like, wow, like Western superhero film. That doesn't really happen. But yeah, I'm glad you agree with me with the whole thing of risk, because I got into foreign films not recently. I want to say after I took my French cinema class. When I took my French cinema, I got really into foreign films. And I will say that I enjoy them much more than American films, because I noticed that they take more risks, not just with what the narrative is, but the way it's presented, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I think that they're not afraid of like characters being like weirder also, I guess. Like if you watch like some like old Swedish films or whatever, like they're not like super old, but like Insomnia versus like the American remake of Insomnia.
Yeah.
The types of characters these people are entirely different. Like the American guy is like this badass cop that you kind of feel a little bad for, and he's like this nice dude, or he's like made out to be this nice dude, like this really nice man, like strong, muscular American. The Swedish guy is a weird fucking guy. Like he's this good cop or whatever, but he's kind of this like sleazy dude, which is like not something you want to look up to, but it's like it's more honest, I guess. Because not everyone is this buff, badass cop that you got to feel bad for. It's just like this is just this weird cop that's a little bit sleazy, and
Yeah.
he fucked up. Here's this story.
And I noticed this because Brad is a huge fan of Akira Kurosawa, so Japanese cinema. He's a big fan of Japanese cinema. But when I first introduced him to Mexican cinema with Amores Perros, which was probably not the best one to introduce him with, because it does something that, he said it, there's no redeeming characters in this story. Everybody's kind of fucked up in their own way. And I said, man, that's the part that is interesting the most, because it's something you've never been introduced to this before in American cinema. Even in Japanese cinema, I've never really encountered something like this, where you have all these characters who are not redeemable, who are fucked up, who are terrible people, and they're all intertwined in the way that they cause some damage to each other. And he just the reaction he got from that, and he's like, dude, like, part of me doesn't want to like this film because none of these characters are redeeming, but I don't think he has noticed as of yet. It's like, Brad, I just threw you into the water to a cinema that you've never been that accustomed to. And I felt that way when I watched the fucking French films that I was watching, French cinema, and I felt that way when I watched the Italian films, which if you were to ask me which is my favorite of the two, I definitely had more of a love for the Italian films. Especially with directors like Rossellini, Federico Fellini, Pier Paolo Pasolini. Pasolini's like on another level, man. That guy's films are great and weird at the same time. But we love the weird.
Yeah, I think film needs more weird, and like if I ever like direct something, you'll know it's mine because it'll be very weird.
Yeah,
like the Arby shorts I made are just like, what is this? Like, this is just like 2 minutes of just weird shit based off an Arby's gift card.
Yeah.
Like, what? But yeah, I don't like just like the American like hero mentality in every single American movie. It's just like, people are not these perfect people that you make them out to be, which I guess is like on a deeper level, like that's kind of like what America's trying to be. It's just like America's this good guy that does no wrong, but like really, if you look at like America's history, like we've fucked some shit up before. So
I feel like that's the thing. It's like there's always that one sense of being heroic and stuff, and I just feel like with the current state of American cinema, I just want them to take more risk, like fucking finance this weird project that somebody brings to you, like just it just feels like it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I know you're like, Raul, you do a whole fucking podcast where you review these movies. Okay, asshole, I enjoy some of these movies, okay? I actually, like, have a good time, but my reason to watch film is not as the same as a lot of... I had to explain this to a couple of people, because they always bring up, like, why don't you like happy things? It's like, I don't watch film because it's escapism or entertainment. I watch film the same way I read books, and I look at art, and I read poetry to expand my mind and really... cultivate it, because deep in its purest form, film is art. It's just another art form. To me, it's the purest art form, and it's able to kind of expand the mind and the way you see the world. So I don't see how somebody can get that from fucking the Avengers movies or Fast and the Furious or fucking I don't know, whatever other insane blockbuster that's out. There has to be this form of other films out there that people should watch, because it's important to build your taste. And by the way, guys, don't come at me. Like, I do like these superhero flicks. They're just stuff that I watch just to watch. Some of them do make a big impact on me, like Black Panther, Logan, what's it called? The Winter Soldier is a really good political thriller. It's, but some of them are really inside their own mold of being just a superhero film, if we're being honest here.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a place for them. Like, I don't think all superhero films should be like not made anymore. I guess it's like, they're good for entertainment, for like a mass audience. Like, cool if you want to go, like all these people want to go out and watch Captain Marvel or whatever, like go off. But they're so frequent. Like, there should be a kind of a breather in there. I feel like every time I go to a theater, there is at least one or two superhero movies when like it's sometimes like I'll go months without going to a theater just because like there's nothing that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I haven't like seen a movie like in a theater since at least November now. It's just like every time I check, I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of these movies.
Yeah. I do urge you to see the trailer for Hotel Mumbai though. That looks really good. Dev Patel is one of the actors and a really, really good actor. And it has Armie Hammer in there. But yeah, that's coming out this weekend along with Us. And everybody knows.
Us looks fantastic.
Oh, it looks fantastic. Yeah, fucking Jordan Peele's just something else. And we can go on for hours about that, about the American cinema studio system. But, it's just, guys, don't hate us. You were in for, 2 film guys were going to be on this podcast. It was down to get a little bit pretentious, and I feel like every film student's a little bit pretentious.
Another one, Never Look Away, also looks kind of sick. That's like that's in a theater around here, and I want to go see that. It's just a commitment of 3 hours, so I'm like,
oh my god, yeah.
I want to go see that at some point, but damn.
Yeah, just go ahead and take an extra water bottle in there, empty it out so you can piss or something. Like I don't mind. I don't mind watching a 3-hour film. I just need an intermission to pee. That's really the only thing for me. Yeah, like, I know some people are like, oh, I can't sacrifice 3 hours. Like, I kind of can, man. I just need to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks. Yeah. I wanted to bring up a couple last things before we're going to say goodbye, because this is going to be a long one, but I just want to reiterate, guys, just please don't hate us for what we're saying. It's our opinion. You can have your own opinions, too. So, go ahead and just go ahead and just ignore us if you don't agree with us. Or you can just direct all your hate mail to Alex at strawhat_Alex. You can go and direct all the hate mail to him. So he's the one who goes through it. But you have not directed any hate mail yet, guys. Please go do it. He really wants it. So I have one. You talked about the weird stuff. So that's kind of like the topics you want to touch. What stuff do you want to touch? Like, I'll give you an example. In my end over here, I really like to touch on identity. What's it called? Ethnicity and all that. And just the idea of constructing one's identity. What's a topic you want to touch in your films?
I don't really know, I guess. I don't have like a specific topic when I make.
Yeah. And it's fine, dude. You don't really have to know it right now.
Yeah, I guess like it kind of depends on the film, like kind of changes for each one, like kind of what I'm trying to talk about, I guess. But it's like I think now I'm up to 33 or something, like shorts that I've worked on. And that's some of them are smaller. I think a couple of them have been unfinished, so like that's just like the ones that I classified as good enough to write down or whatever. But so they've all kind of been all over the place, and like some of them I've had more involvement in with others, so I never like have a consistent theme that I'm trying to get across with them.
Yeah. That is fine, dude. You don't have to really know it right now. I mean, for me, it's just something that I always grew up with about identity and just being a Latino in this country. It's something that always, stuck out with me. So I know that because I just done so much introspective work on myself. But you don't have to know the topics that you want to touch. You could be just random guy who just likes talking about a lot of stuff. But and now you live in New York, in the good old Big Apple. Thank you, by the way, for your gift, bro. It really does mean a lot.
Oh, got you, man.
Yeah, I left it at home though because I couldn't carry it with me. But it's on my shelf.
Big, I was trying to ship it. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually I need a bigger box.
Yeah, it's a big baby boy. I'm gonna go ahead and get a frame for that map that comes in it though, for sure. But I left it back home for now. I'll be going back home in a month and a half, so it's not gonna be without me for a while. But I thought it was just amazing how it's both in Spanish and English. It's
it was really cool to see. I was like, I went to that event and I saw a bunch of them. I was like, these are sick. I'm just definitely gonna pick one of these up and send it to my boy.
Yeah. You sent me that, and I sent you the good old recommendation of Flamin' Hot Doritos. So yeah.
And I've been seeing those pop up around here more recently. Like they weren't really there, and then I just saw it in my bodega. I was like, ooh, gotta try it. Yeah. You see, guys, we have to start liking these guys. They're pretty good, guys. So you go down and check and go ahead and try out your local Flamin' Hot Doritos. But you live in New York now, the good old Big Apple. How's getting accustomed to it, dude? Because
you're from like you were living in Lansing, Michigan. You know.
Yep.
And sorry for giving out your exact location, bro. So like, but either way, we have not.
Exact one because it was East Lansing.
But yeah. How was it, bro, having to get accustomed to this new form of life, living in a big city, and not just any big city, the big city, New York City?
Yeah, definitely the biggest in America, and like in the general, like East or like North American region. It's definitely kind of weird. I guess I've always kind of liked cities, but like growing up in Wyoming, it's obviously a huge transition to go from like there to Michigan, where there's like obviously more people, and then like here where there's just like so many people that are like within a mile radius. There's probably more people than like almost the entire state of Wyoming that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting. I guess like I chose kind of a slightly more quiet area to live in. Like I don't think I could have just like jumped right into like a busy spot in Manhattan and been fine, because like all the noise would be insane.
Yeah. I get you there, bro.
But I love just like the ability to just go do like anything that I want to, I guess, and like just be able to take a train pretty much everywhere. Like I really hate driving, so I was like, that was kind of one of the main reasons for coming here, that I don't have to have a car.
Yeah. Oh, boo-hoo, you have to drive. Boo-hoo, you have to drive, Ayden. You know, some disabled folk over here are not allowed to drive by the state, you know. So, boo-hoo, you have to drive. I just played around with you, bro. I just played around with you. I understand why you probably would hate driving.
Yeah, I just got enough of that in Wyoming, where I had to drive like 4 hours to go to an orthodontist.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
You've lived in a lot of places, right? You told me you lived in Texas for a little bit. You lived in Wyoming. You lived in Michigan.
2 months. Yeah, almost lived in a couple other places, I guess. Just like never actually did.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of been all over. I guess I don't really. I try to like kind of keep it moving every couple of years. I always kind of want to go somewhere different. Like I don't like staying in the same place for too long. So I like to kind of experience different things. So we'll see how long I stay in New York. Probably like for a while, but I guess I'll probably eventually go to some other places, like temporarily maybe, or permanently. We'll see.
Go ahead and move into the nerd studio in LA when it happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do LA.
I don't know, man. Will you take me in if I need to move to New York?
Not a lot of moving.
If I move to New York, will you take me in?
I will take you in. You can live in my closet. Or my basement, or one of those.
Nah, bro, you need a little spoon. I'm a little spoon. You can be big spoon. Don't worry about it.
All right, sick.
Sick, man. Yeah. So New York and all of that, and then of course you do photography, film, and digital. That's awesome. I love that stuff. First, honestly, man, come on. Anybody who works with cameras and is a filmmaker ends up becoming a photographer at some point in their career.
Or yeah, either that or like they'll start as a photographer, and then eventually you kind of just like have to try the other thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like I felt like I wasn't shooting enough when I first got here for video, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think like photography was just kind of an easier thing, because you can just shoot random stuff like whenever, versus like having to plan out like a short film or like a video or whatever. You can just go shoot. Like yesterday I went out and just shot on Roosevelt Island with like 4 different cameras. So just like, I'm just gonna go do that.
Damn. Oh yeah, I saw you put squads all here, man. Gangs all here.
Yeah. All but one. Which was kind of annoying. I had to keep just like fishing them out of my bag, and I had a bunch of like lenses with me too, so just like always just swapping for any particular shot. Like, oh, this one needs to be black and white. This one needs to be this kind of color.
Bro, that's where you just hang them all. You know what they need to do, man? You know how there's those tool belts that you hang around and you can put different belts on and different like tools in it? They need to make one for photographers where you can hang different cameras around you.
Yeah, or lenses and stuff like that. Yeah. Just like that would be so much handier, because like my bag that I carry around, I try to keep it fairly small.
Yeah.
Just for like being like able to maneuver around the city, and if like there's a crowded subway, like fuck carrying a big bag.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could be like you. I used to use my small bag for a lot when I was shooting, but ever since I got the film camera and the digital camera, I just moved entirely to my backpack. and just put them both in there. It does make it a little bit heavy to walk around with, but, you know, or I'll do the thing where I need to buy a strap for my film camera, but I do have one hanging on one side, and I have the other one hanging on the other.
Yeah, I have like I don't like using a ton of straps, I guess. So like I have a strap on one camera, so like whenever I get to where I'm shooting, I'll like put that strap on like over my neck or whatever. Then I'll have like a little bit of room in my bag to put like another camera or like lenses or whatever. So yesterday I had like one around my neck, two cameras, kind of fairly easily accessible, and then I had like the one that was like a little bit more particular, kind of like towards the bottom, and then like lenses kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Which is, it got to be a nightmare by the end of it, but and then you have to like pack that down when you're done shooting too, and try to figure out where everything was supposed to go again, and that's fun.
Yeah. Any last thing before I go into the last smegment, like smegma. Oh, good lord, what did I just say? Smegma. Oh, God, good lord, man. I'm sorry, guys. Last segment I want to go into before we go into the last stuff, but any advice to up and coming filmmakers? It could be as anything as basic as don't forget your batteries or something, but if you want to go like deep from the heart, bro, you can go deep from the heart, but you can literally do the most basic thing and be like, hey guys, make sure you don't forget the SD card.
Yeah, that would be important to not forget those things, I guess. It just like shoot or whatever you want to do, just do it as much as you can. Like if you're in film school, like don't just do the projects that you have to do for film school. Do you have to do those? If you love it, you're going to be wanting to do those things outside of school, and you should be doing those. Like one of my favorite videos to watch, like when I have like kind of a creative block, is this video by Zay Frank. It was like thoughts on the creative career, and he says like when he was like interviewing people for a job or whatever, he didn't care what they did in school. He like cares what you did last weekend. Yeah. And if you weren't making a film or trying to better yourself as a filmmaker in that period, like why aren't you? Because like if you're a filmmaker, you make films, and if you're not making films, you should be asking like why you're not. Exactly. And like it's fine to take breaks or whatever, but like you should always be trying to improve your skills, and not just in school. Like you should always just be thinking about it. Like you shouldn't be able to sleep at night because you want to make a film. You shouldn't. I don't know. You shouldn't just go into it just thinking it's going to be easy. I guess so. It's just go out and just make as much stuff as you can. Make a lot of mistakes, and learn from those mistakes, hopefully. And then obviously, with like the gear or whatever, just like don't fuck your SD card up. Organize stuff when you're editing. That's super important. Yeah. I can't give any acting advice because I'm not an actor. I guess like try to repeat your actions.
Yeah. And treat your cast nicely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, don't be a dick on set to anyone. Always like be open to people's ideas, but if you're kind of like a lower crew member, you shouldn't necessarily be giving out ideas unless you've been asked to. It should be kind of the director's call, but feel free if you see something to kind of give suggestions. If you're a DP, don't be afraid of like trying different lenses or like vintage stuff. Like if you can't afford good lenses out of the gate, like that's fine, because like no one can when they're first starting. You should learn on fairly inexpensive stuff before you get a good camera, probably, because then you'll really understand the settings when you're limited more. Try vintage lenses, because like a lot of the cheaper like budget lenses just like aren't the greatest and like don't have a lot of character to them. So like try a vintage lens, and it's like $30, but it'll give you a lot of like really great character.
Definitely.
Yeah, like Ayden just put me shots were on like $40 Russian glass, and then I had broken-ons for like a year, and like most of the shots with that just like they were a shot, but they were like there's nothing to them, I guess.
Yeah, Ayden just put me on to vintage lenses, and I still need to buy my mount, but I was kind of hoping that was my birthday gift, that he was going to get me the mount, but it's fine. I'll go get it myself. But either way, I still love the gift. You know, I'm just busting your balls there. But because I kept trying to decode what was the gift. But yeah, he just put me onto vintage lenses, and it makes a huge difference, guys. Like, I'm watching these videos and like, wow, like these vintage lenses are better than the kit lens, and they're way less expensive than the kit lens you get.
And you're not going to break them either. Like, my friend had, I just like helped her buy a film camera, and she was like playing with like my 58 or whatever, and she like tripped on some subway goo and like fell like face first onto the stairs while she had like my lens on her camera, and it hit the staircase, and it like bent a tiny bit, but like, the lens is fine. Like, if you drop it, it's like, don't drop it, but like it's gonna be fine. They're like insane all metal build quality.
Yeah,
and obviously don't use vintage lenses for everything. Like, if you're getting paid for something that's supposed to be modern and sharp looking, like don't use a vintage lens for that. But like, if you're trying to tell a specific story that would benefit from it, like definitely play with it.
But you guys should definitely work on that stuff and kind of fuck around with the different things you're able to use. Like I've always say this, but I'm gonna go ahead and see if Ayden would agree with me. It's fine to start small. Like, I wish I would have started making my films on my iPhone when I had one, because when I had my iPhone and I was barely starting out and I didn't have a camera. That's when I was itching the most to shoot something. So it's fine, guys. It's totally fine. You don't have to have this $1,000 camera, because I don't even have one like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't start with something that's like giving you all these pro features or whatever. Like, I remember like when I first started just like making videos or whatever, like I had like an iPod Touch or whatever. I have a tripod, so I like stacked a shitload of like DVD cases, and then like to make it stand up, I put it in like a domino holder.
Yeah.
And like that was a 10-minute process to set up like what would have just been a tripod, but like you learn by doing those kind of things, and if you like want to do it enough, you're gonna find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. All right, so the final thing: what does the future hold for Mr. Ayden Byrnes? More podcast appearances?
Well, probably, yeah, eventually.
Yeah. But for sure, that project you're writing, for sure, that's what the future holds.
Yeah, that'll come out eventually. I just have to figure out like cast and obviously like that kind of stuff, and like where I want to shoot it, because like that could kind of be anywhere. I feel like it has to be kind of a rural spot for that, so like I obviously can't shoot that here. But either kind of like a town, kind of like the one I grew up in, or I think like I find like a rural place in Maine or some shit. That'd be sick. I just have no idea how I'd pull that off.
Yeah.
So that's kind of film wise I'm like editing a project right now, but I don't have anything else lined up to color or whatever. Photography wise, I might have a little book or like a zine coming out kind of soon. We'll see. And just like prints and stuff like that soon as well.
Yeah. Any chances of you working on nude photography?
I mean, if someone's gonna pay me to take nude photos, like I'm not opposed to it. Unless it's like some gross ass dude, then like nah.
Nah.
Well, like, I mean, if someone's like hits me up, they're like, "Hey, here's $200, take some nudes." I'm like, I'll fucking do it, probably. Like, damn.
I was just busting your balls there. For sure, I'd still do it, just because I'm always so intrigued. I'm trying to say this in the least creepy way, but I'm so intrigued in the way that the human body is presented in media and
I definitely think it would be an interesting thing to shoot. Also, just like,
especially with your visual style. Especially with your visual style.
Thank you. Yeah.
It would be very aesthetically pleasing. But other than that, I do want to give you all. I want to thank you so much for sticking around, man. It's been a wonderful time talking with you. Did it feel like therapy?
Yes, very therapeutic. I'm very relaxed now.
Yeah,
go to a spa or something next.
I didn't even ask you about your childhood, and I didn't ask you about things like, mental health or anything like that. So it shouldn't have felt like therapy. So I was just talking to you about film and what drives us and what we love to do. But thank you so much, bro. It means the world. But now I have to get into the good old housekeeping section. So I want to thank you all so much for listening, especially if you're a Patreon supporter at the $1 and up level. You have access to this for a whole week. That's a lot of time. I want to thank you all so much for that because this is awesome. And honestly, the Patreon supporters are the ones who made this show happen. So thank you so much for being awesome people. And go ahead and keep supporting. Or if you want to tell your friends about us, share them the link www.patreon.com/thenerdcore CORPS. And for the people who aren't Patreon supporters, you're listening to this in the first week of April. I'm sorry. First week of April. It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. But if you do want to get these episodes a week early, you definitely consider pledging to the $1 tier on your Patreon. Because even at $1 a month, guys, you get all these good things. So, you get all these episodes a day early or a week early for this one at least. So please consider, please consider. Want to give a huge shout out to, honestly, the guy who made this show happen, but all the Patreon supporters have. But this guy in general, Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram, Warlord Hitman 98 on Twitter. Warlord, bro, you made this thing happen by being an awesome Patreon producer. At the $15 level, he gets a shout out along with pins and stickers as they're made, and a postcard from us every month here at the team. So thank you so much, man.
Photos from me.
What's up?
And nude photos from me.
Yeah, nude photos from Ayden. Yeah, and
only Grayson gets those.
Not a lot of people get those. I don't even get those. But yeah.
Just Grayson.
But yeah, dude, honestly, man, thank you so much for being an awesome person. Make sure you follow the network at the Nerdcore _, Instagram at the Nerdcore. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Nerdy Chicano. And that's kind of it for housekeeping, guys. I do want to thank our guests for sticking around. Next month, and look, guys, honestly, this might be next month might be the last month where it's monthly if the viewership is there. So guys, come out in numbers for this episode and the next one, and we'll evaluate and see what's up, and we'll make some room to see if we can do this bi-weekly. But next month we will have another film student, Haley Taves. She'll be sticking around with us and talking about film and just a lot of cool stuff. And I can't wait to have her on. But Ayden, can you tell the people where they can find you?
Yeah, Instagram at Ayden.Byrnes, AYDEN.BYRNES. It's spelled stupid. Twitter at AByrnes152.
Mm-hmm. And then for, if anybody wants to look at your work that you've done on, films and photography, AydenByrnes.com, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to build that up and make a little store on there for some prints and stuff soon. Yeah. So that'll definitely get more updated as we go.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Do not like the metallic prints. That's just my opinion.
Ooh, that metallic print is fire. That is very controversial.
I don't like the way it looks a little bit. I love the picture for sure. Not sure I'm a fan of the whole metallic print.
That one came off a little bit weird because I guess it still has a little bit too much metal on it. So I think if I were to do that one again, I would have a white coat over it first. But I love the shine of metal. It's slaps.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just that print in general, how it's made.
I would definitely change it a little bit, but generally I love the metal stuff.
Yeah, all right. So you guys already know. Go to AydenByrnes.com and go look at all his films, his photography. Most of his photography is on his Instagram, but if you guys do want to go contract him for some stuff, or hey, if you have anything you want to ask him about, maybe you're an up-and-coming filmmaker and you want to learn about all these things, and go ahead and tweet him, guys. But yeah, go and talk to the guy. He's great. And as always, the case is closed but not classified. Have a good day, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.